I'd like to welcome everybody to our April meeting and ask you to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America. Walter, if you would call the roll, please.
Mr. Hudson.
I'm here.
Mr. Armstrong.
Here.
Mr. Kenright. Here. Ms. Jones. Mr. Schnabel.
Here.
Mr. Kelly. Here. 5, 3 has 4.
Okay. You should have received in your email packet our minutes from the March 5th. I think this is a template. Last time it was before 2014 also. This is going to be 2015. I caught that last time and I thought I said something. I kind of figured it was.
Oh, they run the minute.
Yeah, well, it says park board meeting, yeah, in the minutes, yes, correct.
I read them at home and I didn't read them.
Yeah. So if there's anyone who would like to make a motion.
A motion.
Ready?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes.
Mr. Armstrong.
Yes.
Mr. Kenright. Yes. Mr. Schnabel.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly. Yes.
Thank you. Move right into attorney report.
A couple of things. I do come this evening bearing what is a rough draft of a proposed lease with the Historic Power Association. And I think the best thing to do is to give each one of these, and they have not seen it yet, each of my committee members. We will get together as expeditiously as possible as our schedule will permit. The formatting of it turned out in my mind to be similar in that we're going to rely a lot on exhibits to the document to define parameters of use and whatnot. So that the document itself kind of forms the skeleton, and then the exhibits put the meat on the skeleton in terms of some of the things we've talked about. But that being said, the exhibits are not there. We need to work through those and get more specific, but at least we're making progress in the right direction on that. The other thing I'll bring with me is again something that just arrived, and in lieu of delaying anything, I am in possession of a proposed temporary site evaluation easement document prepared by the attorney for the town of Couts. I reviewed it. I find it to be acceptable. As you'll recall, Couts is going to be doing some site evaluation in terms of a well, and we need to put within the four corners of a piece of paper their entitlement to do that. Assuming there's an agreement as there was last month with the philosophy of proceeding, I would, based on my review of the document, I'd ask that the board, again, I just got this, so we don't wait till next month. The chairman entertains a motion from the board to authorize his execution of the temporary site evaluation easement so the town of Couts has the legal authority and right to go on our property.
Someone who would like to make that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion or questions for the attorney? Roll call, please.
Mr. Armstrong.
Yes.
Mr. Kenright. Yes. Ms. Jones. Mr. Schnabel.
Yes.
Mr. Kenright. Yes. Mr. Hudson.
Yes.
Let's go through the program.
I will forward this document after I notarize your chairman's signature back to the town of Couts. I heard, this is kind of a segue, but I heard indirectly from a couple of people that there has been activity out there, Ray, in the last couple of days.
That's right.
Unless there's any questions, that's the end of my report.
Any questions for Mr. Hollenbeck? Thank you. Staff report.
We have all sorts of good things to talk about today. Provide some updates to you. Do my best to not duplicate much of what's going to come up during the committee conversations, because all of our different committees and groups have been incredibly busy in the last couple of weeks. The Break Across Trails project continues to move forward. A pre-bid meeting has been scheduled for next week. The bid packages are prepared and ready to be reviewed by contractors. They are available in our office, and the electronic version is also available on the portercountyparks.org website. It's a substantial document and package of materials per the federal regulations, but they are fully prepared and ready to be reviewed, and that meeting will be held April 8th at 2 o'clock. I'm sorry? April 9th, April 9th at 2 p.m. at Break Across Gardens. Our staff have completed the initial clearing of the trails. As you may recall, we are now allowed to remove trees over 2 inches in diameter after April 1st because of restrictions imposed by the much-beloved Indiana BAC. So we were able to get all that done in-house prior to that deadline, and that has been completed. Both Ray and Matt have indicated that they're incredibly pleased with the progress so far. It's moving forward very well. I'll leave the Oxygen Park stuff off for the moment. Of course, one of the big things that I wanted to share with everybody that May 16th is Spring Out to Sunset, our big spring festival at Sunset Hill Farm. That is going to be a lot of fun. We ordered the weather early. It's going to be beautiful. Nipla is providing the wagon rides again for us. There is a game. The Sunset Hill Farm Colonels are going to be taking on the Deep River Grinders for a rematch. We owe them a good licking, so that's going to happen.
You're pretty funny.
I am. You're going to be surprised at how talented this crew is going to be.
Rich, I think we've been replaced.
I think
You have a real strong role. But our letters to our community partners have gone out, and we've already started receiving responses from sponsors who are interested in being a part of the event. So we do have a limited number of sponsorships that are available, so we ask that folks get those in as quickly as possible to us this year. I do want to mention that Dana was successful in an effort we started last year, combining the sponsorship opportunities for Spring Out and Winter Lights. You may recall that we've gotten some feedback the last 2 years for our Winter Lights sponsors. They said, boy, we love the event, we love to be a part of it, we love to support it, but when we get the information in October from you, a lot of times it's the end of the budget year and they're unable to really do much or as much as they'd like. So this year we've combined the events sponsorship opportunities so folks can get a little bit more exposure and alignment with our festivals for a better rate. So that has gone out, and we anticipate that being very successful. The next round of the program guide is going on, and I want to thank this board and especially the foundation board for partnering this time The last thing that I wanted to address, and maybe I'll just, no, you know what, we'll skip that until we get down to land acquisition. Sorry, that's it for now.
Any questions on what Walter has presented so far? Rick?
Just curious, what is the cost of sponsorship for Sunset?
It depends on the level. There's anything from, I would say, $3,500 to $100. Yeah, down to $100.
Okay, so 3,500 to 100.
Correct, yeah.
What does 3,500 give me?
Everything. I give you a quarter-page ad in the program guide. It gives you like a display and visualize you do the combination. It gives you you're a sponsor that includes an area at the event. Sponsor in all of our e-blogs leading up to the event. You're in up on the website in the future for social media. Should as well being included on all advertisements for the event.
Okay. I'll tell you what.
Porter County Parks.
Figure out how to sign your name, Dave. The other thing I did have a question about, and I talked to Ray about this, I think he wasn't, this might be coming, but the bids for the, Wicked Cross. Bid package, we talked about it being a prevailing wage job. I mentioned that to you.
Correct.
What?
Mr. Malbec is assisting me over fantastic. Since it's under a certain threshold, it's not required to be a prevailing wage job or a common wage construction job. I believe that number is $350,000 and below. So it's open to bids.
Can we make sure it is a prevailing wage job?
I think it's a little too far in the process to.
I asked you this earlier, why didn't you answer me earlier?
I apologize, I didn't get back to you, but I did speak with our attorney about it, and he did indicate the number was $350,000.
I don't want to get on my soapbox too hard here, but I'm gonna jump on it. If this company that is, bids this job is not union, is the lowest, I will not, I'm gonna just say this flat out, I will vote for the bid to be accepted. So I just want everybody, I'm a union man, I think our union wages are under attack, and I think as a county, we need to help our union people in this county, because they make a good living that can afford to live in. So I mean, it's a ranger and iron worker, just, you were an iron worker, I think you understand, I fully believe this should be a minimum wage job.
Agree, those are two different things. It should be a union job, or a prevailing wage job, or both.
Well, I would like to see the union and the prevailing, but if it's prevailing wage, that's, I mean, I can't. You understand what I'm saying? I know how to differentiate, I guess you're right, I should, I would definitely like to be a.
Now, the fact of the matter is, to bring us all around, having attended probably more common construction big meetings than anybody in this building, in Northwest Indiana, the common construction wage ends up being union scale. Okay? But that doesn't mean that contractor has to be a union contractor.
You're correct.
Anything else? Let's move into our reports and update. The Education Center and Farm Program update, is there anything?
No, everything is on schedule with all projects right now, as previously reported.
Any questions? Akiki Park, anything additional for Akiki Park? There were some.
There's a lot of information that went out in the park board packet, so the KNS engineers was out there, and Ray was able to take a visit afterwards.
Correct.
So it looks like the property was taken care of as expected.
That's correct. I went out and did a site inspection to ensure that there wasn't deep ruts left from soil boring testing. And they used, I included in my staff report, like an ATV of sorts, looked like a tank. They went out and did the testing for the proposed stormwater retention ponds. It was minimal impact was left on site. We were fortunate that the ground was pretty dry for this time of year. So it's fine. Prior to that, Stephen and Kirk went out there with GPS units and staked out the areas in which they tested. They also left the stake for the town of Couch, going to do their testing for their proposed well area.
Okay, so that.
Mark,
Pretty good, good. So they know right where to go then.
They do, and I would also like to point out that I did talk to the farmer, Mr. Rhoda, and he indicated that he would like to get out there by the third week of April, to start farming. So there is a timeline. I've been speaking with Mr. Tim Jones from Couch. I need to make him aware that there is a deadline for them to get that testing done this season.
Is that marked for the town of Couch, that's on what I'll call is the 10-acre
Yeah, it is
parcel?
located over
Okay.
in the 10-acre parcel.
So if they don't get it done, then Mr. Rhoda won't be farming the additional 10 acres or may be
Mr.
limited.
Rhoda had a question about that, those northern 10 acres, and I wasn't sure what the answer is at this point, if he's gonna farm that or not, or we're still gonna leave it out.
Well, I thought it was all dependent upon whether they got in and did their wells at their borings, whether he would
I don't recall,
farm
that's
that.
what I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I didn't remember one way
Yeah,
or the other
that's-
what we were doing. But it is located within that area, so there shouldn't be a problem with them getting in and out if the farmer starts. So
Well, they got
I'll
3 weeks, so-
contact Rhoda and let him know.
Okay.
The stakes are still on the ground out there, are we gonna pick those up?
The farmer can take them out, or we can go down and pull them out, if they're really
I just
development
wondered
at
if
this point.
you're gonna pick them up, or what we gonna do with them, just let them know.
I didn't.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Ray, the stakes, is there just one stake for the well location, or are the corners of the 10 acres stakes?
Just the stakes were installed for the soil borings and the well location. The property has not been, surveyed to show the boundaries yet.
Okay, well, what I'm getting at is we're talking about the 10 acres, and if the farmer doesn't know exactly where that 10 acres.
The 10 acres was not farmed, so it's very obvious where it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was left alone last year, so it's just weeds right now, so.
Yeah, last year we went out and staked out the 10 acres.
Yeah.
But it's pretty obvious once you go out to the site, what is the lot.
Okay. All right, programs and education updates.
The only update I have is to welcome the newest addition to the family. Miss Tyler has joined us. She is our new part-time educator, and she's going to be with us for part of the year, and we're very excited to have her helping us to deliver field trips, parts to schools, summer camps, naturalist programs all around. So we're really pleased to have her on the team. So welcome, Tyler.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, Brick Across Gardens, anything additional? I was at a meeting today with the Army Corps of Engineers, and somebody brought up the fact that Marty Malkin from IDEM, was he up on site? Does anybody know?
Remember, he was there with the Army Corps, has been on site.
Okay.
They worked with staff and consultant, confirming the delineations of the wetlands.
Okay. Sunset Hill Farm Trails and Pond and Prairie update?
Again, the project continues to go very well. We're hoping to see some flowers starting to pop up in the prairie very soon. In addition, we're beginning to put together the next stage of work out there with the high school, with John Roth and the career technical schools, to begin work on the docks out there. We submitted with the foundation. We're working on some additional funding asks out there to the community right now. And the other exciting thing is that the staff have begun putting together an update to the trails that we discussed last year. One of the items that we want to try to address is the fact that we do have such an increase in pedestrian usage on the trail, as well as an increase in the amount of programs that we're delivering and partnerships that we have where we're having wagon rides out there. So we do have the routes as of today. We have all of our cross-country routes for the fall, and we've identified where most of the wagon rides like to be, and we've begun to see if we can separate those out this year now that the ground is moving. So once we have a draft of that, we're going to ask Tom to sit down with us and give us some feedback, and then go back out to
Shelter playground update?
Nothing at this time, other than, we're still, kind of stinging that we didn't get the American Water Grant. But, we are moving forward with the project, we have some funds to move forward with the Navy Rapid Play area this year. So I inquired with the highway department to see if they might be able to help us with some of the clearing and grading out there this year. They indicated that that might be an opportunity for them, so they're researching, how that would work. And with their pool of funds, so we have to have a formal conversation with Mr. James and the commissioners, but, David James, the highway commissioner, he seems open to it and being excited about it. We worked really well together with the new entryway to the south part of the park open, and, David doesn't anticipate this being a real problem when we get some new entrance first. So we're still excited. One of the other funding opportunities we're working on, with the foundation is to Valparaiso University. They have an annual process that they go through. One of their English classes actually gives away $10,000 a year. We'll be submitting on Monday an application in coordination with the Parks Foundation Board, to apply for a few $1,000s for that project. So good stuff, still coming down the way. Either way, we're putting plans together to solve the American Play area this year.
Okay, communications and marketing update?
Not at this time,
Land acquisition and development update?
I have a number of items related to land acquisition and development. First of all, Mr. Hollenbeck, were you able to secure or draft the resolutions authorizing the park board to acquire the property for the conservation fund?
I'm sorry, I failed that.
Okay, failed me. Let me ask this, and you guys tell me what you think. We're in the final stretch of preparing all of our documentation for the last funding source, which is the conservation fund. We've gotten the letter of commitment already from the Bicentennial Nature Trust. They are doing their due diligence at their land acquisition office, so they have all the documents, they're preparing it. The Coastal Estuarine and Land Conservation Program, right, Joe? Did I get that right? KELP?
Well, I know what you're talking about.
If I pronounced it right, that program, all of our documentation has been turned into them as well, and they're finalizing their due diligence. The Conservation Fund has asked us for several documents. Two of those documents that they have asked us for, and bear with me for just a minute here, I'm going to pull this up, are board resolutions authorizing the park board to acquire the land and to accept the easement on it. So it's two different resolutions. One saying that we as a board authorize the purchase, we want to acquire the land, we will accept the funds, and the second being that we accept the conservation easement on the property. The conservation easement will run in concurrence, I'm using the right language, Dave, in concurrence with the other easements. Of course, the DNR and the KELP program require easements, and we'll be matching all of those together, so it's one document. The easement will basically state that the land is protected in perpetuity, that only passive recreation will be allowed on it, which means hiking, jogging, bird watching, nature interpretation, outdoor education. Maintenance functions that support those types of activities will be allowed as well, but committing that we'll never be able to build ball fields on it. We'll never be able to turn it into a BMX track. It'll be conserved for passive recreation. Both of those, I'm hoping to get post-haste to the Conservation Fund because it'll be a bit of a process. I quite humbly request that maybe we consider allowing Dave to draft that, and we can distribute that electronically, or Cruise it, have Rich sign that.
Well, I think and I apologize for dropping the ball on that, now I remember.
It's okay, it's okay.
I think we can go farther than that. I think you can entertain a motion to do both of those two things, have it acted on tonight, and then we'll memorialize that action in the form of whatever paper trail we need, and you can authorize Rich to sign it. It sounds like, Walter, we're looking for two separate acknowledgements.
Correct, and that's what I'm just double checking my homework right now to make sure that I have that correct. So this addendum is attached to the part of the purchase agreement dated July 31st. Closing should be on or before August 31st now, 2015. And because the appraisal had come in at $890, we have to legally pay the appraisal price. And it states purchase price to be $890,000. So that would be the addendum that I would ask the clerk board to also authorize Rich to sign.
So there's actually three things we have to do.
Correct, 3 items, absolutely.
And Mr. Chairman, the first one would then be for you to entertain a motion that this body resolves to accept. And what's the best way to designate this property? The Old Chicago Road property?
We've been referring to it as that.
Walter, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Passive recreation, you know, you emailed us about this, Go-Aid.
Oh, yeah, the adventure course.
Can that be done on this property then? Are we
You know,
limiting ourselves, or do we have enough other spaces to do that?
I don't know, I would doubt it, at first blush, I would doubt it, but we definitely have a myriad of other properties that could be considered for it, but, yeah, and I would never, I wouldn't even begin to suggest any usage until we actually close on the property, have title, and go through a master plan process, so, yeah, we're ways away from that.
So the first one will be to outright accept the Old Chicago Road property.
That's my understanding of the first action.
Someone like to make that motion, or
So moved.
we have a second? Nada? Any further discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Kenrick? Yes. Ms. Jones? Yes. Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Mr. Kenworthy? Yes. Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Thank you. 6-0 affirmative.
So then the second resolution would be to accept the conservation easement over the Old Chicago Road property.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to second.
Okay, any further discussion?
That conservation easement is the one that limits our use, correct?
Yes. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Mr. Kenworthy?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Mr. Kenrick? Ms. Jones? 6-0 from the affirmative.
And then the third item would be to accept the addendum that was presented. This came out in your packet, if anybody needs a copy of it. This is the addendum identifying an addendum to the July 31st of 2014 purchase agreement for the Old Chicago Road property, with closing to happen on or before August 31st of this year, and the appraisal / purchase price to be $890,000. Somebody would like to.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Kenworthy?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Mr. Kenrick?
Yes.
Ms. Jones? Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
6-0 from the affirmative. Thank you very much.
I would ask for one additional resolution, and that's to authorize your chairman to work with your derelict attorney.
So moved.
And we have a motion by Mr. Camwright and second by,
Write that down, make sure you get the derelict.
I'll let the transcriber take care of that.
To adequately memorialize the actions that you've taken this evening.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Mr. Kenworthy?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Mr. Canrod?
Yes.
Mr. Norton, affirmative.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anything else on, land acquisition?
Yes, I do. I have one more item that I wanted to talk about. I had multiple positive conversations with two things, correct?
I think so.
Okay. The first one I have is, I had some good conversations with both John and Mary Hobson this week about the Riverwoods Farm property down on Kankakee River. They have completed the process with their legal counsel to prepare a series of documents detailing how the transfer of land would occur upon their passing. The question had come up of how and if to integrate the Parks Foundation Board into that process. The reason being that if the land is held by a nonprofit and then is transferred to the park board, that land may be used as a match for several of the large grant programs as this park board has been incredibly successful with at Sunset Hill Farm and Break Across Gardens. John and I had some really great conversations this week. He still had a number of questions that I am far from qualified to answer until I get the letters of Esquire behind my name. So I'll let Mr. Hollenbeck continue to be the lawyer for this group. But what I would ask is that the park board allow Mr. Kenworthy and the Land Acquisition Committee to begin working through those details with Mr. and Mrs. Hobson and the Kankakee Valley Historical Society, who will be the player in this as well. They're going to receive a portion of the land, and we will be partners with them in the long term. So I'd ask that the park board allow Mr. Kenworthy and that committee to begin the work to get that done, to bring that back to you for your approval. The good news is that it's not a troublesome thing. We all hope that John and Mary are with us for a long time, so this is going to be years/decades before we actually get the title. But John and Mary are very concerned that, God forbid, they won't get struck by a bus. They want this stuff right and make sure that it's protected in perpetuity.
You okay with that?
Sure, let's go.
Okay.
More like, sure, okay.
All right. Anything else?
I think that was it on Riverwoods Farm. Thank you.
Okay, budget and, yes, go ahead.
The Land Acquisition Committee,
You saw your email. I'm not
yeah,
sure.
email, I think that there's 4 or 5, I think there's 5 members currently. I think we should reach out to the foundation and see if they would like to put a member on this committee. One of the things through all our little meetings was we didn't know about it. So as long as we offer a place on the committee for the foundation members, we can certainly.
That's appropriate. You, the committee chairman, you can so do that.
I need permission or?
Go for it.
They prohibit us. The other thing is, Walter, I think we got something somewhere that, I think I saw Rich had, concerning the, improvements to the corner of 6 and Meridian. Do we have to talk about that?
Yes.
Is that something we need to discuss tonight?
Yeah. Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm for a rant. So you have received all the documentation and the letter associated with the activity that's going on at the corner of US 6 and Meridian Road. What you've received is, and tell me if I'm wrong here, is a de minimis letter stating what can and cannot happen up there. We understand, and again, stop me if I'm incorrect here, Ray, that the park board is not giving up any right-of-way as part of the project, but they have asked that they would be able to put some equipment on the property, that they may be staking out there, they're going to be cleaning up along the road because soil and vegetation has entered into their right-of-way. So there would be some interaction. Their commitment, and Ray's had multiple conversations with INDOT and the group that's working on this, is that any damage that their equipment would do, they would pay to have that cleaned up and removed. This is actually a good opportunity, both Ray and I discussed, that we've been looking at removing some of the vegetation that's along there that's no longer very appealing in our
Well, is this, I guess the reason this isn't the completed letter, is it? Okay, I didn't see any signature. I didn't think this was the final letter.
No, we should put it on a letterhead.
Okay.
But
Have you seen this?
Yes.
Are you okay with this? Okay.
The only thing that, as I understand the corner, it's the foundation that actually is the underlying owner of the land that was an impact. So I hope NDOT is talking to the foundation.
They are. Ray has made sure that communication is going on, but there is, the project does extend far enough east that we have been identified as one of the partners that they have to contact, because of that land in the middle.
Yeah, we have 300, well, they have the first 1,000. we
First
have the
1,000
next.
feet is there, so the project goes more than 1,000 feet.
Correct.
East on 6.
At least the activity related to the construction. Whether or not the actual improvements will occur there, I can't say, but the actual construction activity will go that far, at least in that this stage. And who knows, maybe they're just covering their butt, they're never gonna be over on our property, but it can,
Well, even in the first 1,000 feet, we're a lessee with that property, and so we would have some rights. So even the first 1,000 feet, they should be getting that from us. But I just wanted to make sure that they're in communication with the foundation as well.
Well, and I asked you that question prior to the meeting, and I do see on here, on their property ownership plat, that they do have the foundation listed, and they have us listed right next to them, so. Well, if somebody would like to make a motion to approve the signing of this letter, Ray will get it on the appropriate letterhead and give me the authority to sign it.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'm sorry, I was looking, who made the motion? Drew? This does look like it's going, and I think I heard, this does look like it's going pretty far down. There's some improvement down in front of, some roads on the north side, so. Is there any further discussion? Roll call? Yes, sir. Yes.
you mentioned cleaning out fence possibly up there.
There is none. It's all been cleaned out along there, hasn't it?
There are, when I say fence, there are still a couple of old rusting T-posts.
Oh,
Okay, so there's a farm fence. No, I'm calling it fencing, because that's briefly what it's used for. Yeah. Hey, you're correct.
Roll call?
I'm confused, so I apologize for starting back where.
That's all right. The motion was Drew, the second by Tom to,
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Mr. Kenworthy?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
yes.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Mr. Cameron? Yes. I'm incredibly excited to have such a long land acquisition report, but that concludes it.
Thanks for reminding us of that. Okay, let's see where we are. Budget and personnel. The Budget and Personnel Committee met this week, Tuesday. The RFQ that was sent out for the vendors, the food vendors at Sunset Hill, received no, following all the legal things that we had to do, sending it out, received no return requests or no qualifications back. So Walter, it was recommended that Walter go ahead and prepare a park policy, and that we would continue to pursue vendors for that food vending service. So I'm not sure we need any motions.
It would basically change it, allow us to have vendors for one day.
Yeah.
For an opportunistic, if there was an event where it really called for a vendor, we could sign somebody up for one day instead of approaching it, they could get somebody for a whole season or a whole year.
So Walter will prepare that policy, so when we do get that person, that they would follow the wishes of the board.
Were the folks that did the trial run last fall interested in coming back?
No, and the main reason, I've had multiple really great conversations with a lot of different vendors. And the main impediment for every single person I talked to was that not knowing exactly how much business is going to occur. All of those types of vendors they purchase and prepare food on site. And so not knowing if they would be able to sell enough of that product was enough of a deterrent for them to say, you know what, right now, we're going to step back. Not that it's a permanent, we don't want to partner with you, but to make that sort of commitment, they just weren't prepared. The good news is that Mr. Hollenbeck and I had a conversation, and he made it clear that, we've satisfied the requirements that we need to do to get an RFQ out. So now we're free to have conversations with any partners and vendors. To that end, I've been reaching out to folks in the community that are in this business and asking them lots of questions. I've gotten a massive amount of feedback. I continue to just be impressed with the generosity of our business owners' time to let me sit and pick their brains on how this would work. And I think we're still going to pump something good this year. I think it's going to be small, but I think we're still going to be able to provide some type of fun and quality service to our patrons.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Have you been able to discuss with, say, a culinary school in the area or something that would want to do a class?
Yep, that actually came up. One of the recommendations that was made to me by one of our vendors was to go meet with the folks at Ivy Tech and have a conversation with them. And I'm actually friends with Mr. Sikoski, the chancellor for the Valpo campus. And Akshay and I have talked, and we just haven't had a chance to actually sit down and meet yet. That actually came from a conversation with Ms. Dahl over at Opportunity Enterprises. And began looking into seeing if we could do something with the Simply Amazing Market. And she recommended something over at Ivy Tech, which I thought was a great idea.
Any other questions? I think that was it for the budget and personnel. No, it's,
We approved about the house.
we're gonna do it, we're gonna let it go through the year.
Right.
This is the house on 700 North. Nicole, we agreed in committee that the use of the house through the end of the year was okay, and that after that time.
Basically, we fleshed out the board resolution from last time by approving a more formal document of what is expected in exchange for living. So it's kind of like an informal amendment to the job description. And we approved it initially, and it's in the file. And it's available if anybody wants to see.
I look forward to that. You want to send that out? Okay. Thank you for refreshing my memory. I don't think there was anything else. Any questions? Okay, is there any other old business? Have anything?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I apologize if I didn't hear it earlier on the education department place education center.
Yes.
Have we had any follow-up from the architects on the finalized drawings yet?
There was a.
Yeah, I had actually reached out to Tom and asked him to provide us with an update, and he had responded back with a breakdown of the different components. I just got it last night, late last night, because I asked him to write a breakdown of what stages we expect to be completed when, as well as the costs associated with it, and then when we would expect Tom to be able to come back. So I haven't even gotten a chance to look at that yet, but I can forward that on to the board, because he broke it down by month with the different components and the costs associated fully engaged and should see substantial progress, lower milestones and estimated payment schedule. So April, he expects floor plan development, structural design, building detailing, MEP design, and site plan development to all be presented.
Thank you.
Good question.
Anything else? No old business NIPA report?
That we're gonna be starting to get the, since the weather broke, we're gonna get these, projects that's been on hold finished. That will be, and, I want to let the board know that NIP is there to help, park in any way we can.
Very good. Any questions? None?
I do want to thank Mike and the club. We had a bit of a hurry up with trying to get things organized for spring break camp, and both Mike and Jack took time out over the weekend to make sure that everything was in really good shape for spring break camp last week. This is a program that we weren't sure if we were going to try to move forward with, and Nicole got so much feedback from parents that they were interested in it. We put it together late in the winter, and we ended up with 17 kids out there. So I want to thank Mike and Jack, especially at the club, for making sure, because the kids had a blast. The weather wasn't the best, so I'm glad we had a space to put some of the heaters in and get it warmed up for them. But they're definitely to be thanked. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Park Foundation. Anyone here to?
Mr. Yeager was unable to attend. He had services at his church this evening, so he just asked me to touch on a few things. One was that we had met with the representative from Valparaiso University regarding that grant program, and we're going to be turning that in jointly on Monday, so that has gone well. They finalized some of the documentation with the Donnelly Foundation, and that funding should be received in their P.O. box any day now. As well, one of the other things that I want to wrap up, we had a very productive conversation last week, and one of the items that was addressed was the parcels that the foundation owns at Sunset Hill Farm, and if there's a difference between the two parcels in regards to the amount of points that they would score on a land and water conservation fund application. Ray and I, along with our grant writer, went through both parcels and essentially did the self-scoring using the template that is given. Our assumption and estimation at this point is that those parcels would score exactly the same. That it doesn't really matter. We looked through the manual, it appears that both parcels would make it eligible to be connected to the piece where we want to put the education center on. Again, the application we like to put forward is to pay for the bathrooms. It's a $200,000 grant program, which would essentially pay for everything related to the construction of the restrooms within the center. So it would still work. This is my way of formally presenting that to this board and the foundation board, and I'll follow up with an email to them. But our understanding is that it shouldn't matter. Either parcel will work. In fact, if this works a little bit better, having them donate the eastern part, commit to donate the eastern parcel, because they want to see what happens with that corner first, then this would be agreeable. So good.
Very nice.
Yeah. Other than that, try to get people to sign up to become members of the foundation.
Public comments. Charlotte Reed.
The program you were talking about, Walter, the Coastal Estuary Land Protection Program. And I think that's money that you're getting through the coastal program.
Yeah, they're the grant administrators for it, correct?
Yeah. And the easement with, well, not the conservation fund, because they don't have the easement, but the easement with DNR or U.S. Fish and Wildlife?
No, I believe the easements with Fish and Wildlife, which was my question to the Conservation Fund, if they would be okay with the documents running in concurrence, because the Conservation Fund money is coming from U.S. Fish and Wildlife as well.
Well, it's Denver's pipeline mitigation money.
Right, I'm just not supposed to say that.
Well,
You can't.
Now, have you submitted your application to the Conservation Fund already?
Already well in yeah, it's just a matter of finding a match, we're always interested in property.
Well, the next meeting is going to be June, in June, so you might be thinking there is something. I don't know if there's any more conservation fund match, but it's something to think about. And I got a question on this Anchor Street, what you call Riverwoods, is that what?
Yeah, Riverwoods, that's what Charlie Mary called the property.
Donor would be this new committee?
No,
It's gonna be the Historical Society?
I understand, I'm probably correct on this, the donors are the Hodsons.
Yeah, the donors are the Hudsons, and what the committee is going to do is to prepare the documents for that future transition from the Hudsons to the,
First owner, just directly to Parkwood? No, that was my question.
What I heard was maybe to the foundation.
either the park board or the foundation, could be.
Oh, so Porter County Park Foundation.
Yes.
That's what I heard tonight.
Because I heard something about this historic association, which would probably.
No.
I think they're gonna maintain, maybe I'm wrong here, but I believe that the Historic Association, Kankakee Valley Boys, is gonna maintain a part of that.
correct.
They're gonna, like the County Lodge area, they're gonna maintain a parcel down there, apart from what the Hodgsons are gonna someday, hopefully, donate to either the Porter County Parks Department or Porter County Parks Foundation.
I got the impression that they were going to be the ultimate recipient, and, that would not be a good match for the properties, natural parts of the property, so the park.
What I'm hearing is that it's going two different directions. That the natural properties are coming to the Park Foundation and the Park, or the Park Department, and the lodge is going to the Historical Society, and there'll be two different entities. That's the report I'm getting.
And it will be
That's
two,
the action.
two separate descriptions, detailed descriptions of the two properties.
Yes, sir.
This is why it's going to.
Yes.
Correct.
We're gonna figure this all out.
We don't know exactly how it's.
Yeah, Charlie, you're on the committee.
Yeah,
You don't want to set yourself up for problems in the future.
That's
Let's talk about it.
that's why we go slowly as opposed to quickly.
Well, I got the impression from what I heard that somehow the historical society was going to.
What I've seen in email and other things, they seem to be a player in all of this. Exactly what they will do or not do, or what they'll acquire or not acquire, or what will acquire, either in a conveyance and reserving a life estate, or just putting it in their wills. These are all unanswered questions.
Some part of this transaction goes to the Porter County Park Foundation.
Well, as Walter alluded to, we'll go all the way back to Art Willing's day. We learned that if we take the land, we can't use it as a match.
That's right.
But if a third party takes it, like the foundation, then they can convey it to us as part of the match. That's just one of the
Just have
myriad.
everything spelled out specifically.
It's the opposite of minutia. It's a lot.
And you can't.
A lot of moving parts here.
But you can't indicate in the transaction that the Park Foundation will ultimately promise to give it to the park.
That's true.
Because that's,
Can't play your card.
yeah. Okay. Now, did I hear something about the trails and Sunset Hill about some sort of riding? Did I mishear the trails that you're looking at to improve?
These are wagon rides.
Wagon rides.
Wagon rides, like they've always been used. And what's happened is they've gotten a lot of use, and some of them have deteriorated to the point where anytime it's wet, they run a wagon over, or they're used for running. So they want to improve them to the point, pardon me?
Vehicles or horses?
No, tractors,
Not animals.
tractors and hay wagons.
Oh,
It's the hay rides they've always had,
Already done.
and so they're looking to, I guess, stabilize the ground, so we don't get such terrible wear on it.
Stabilizer.
Stabilized, no paving.
No,
No paving.
stabilized.
Stabilize.
Ruben tries to make it past you, Ruben promise.
Yeah, groom them.
There you
Urban gutter.
Okay.
Yes. Herb?
As we all know, park departments have been starving from money for quite a few years. The national park, state park, county park, and there have been suggestions to alleviate that by seeking money from private donors or corporations, and including maybe naming rights, something like that. I'm on the board of directors of Coffee Creek Watershed Conservancy, and this problem or this discussion came up recently there because certain sources of their money was being dried up. Now, I think that there must be a discreet and proper way to acknowledge private donors. But something I don't want to see is a great 10-foot high sign saying Porter County Parks brought to you through the generosity of Donald Trump.
Neon sign.
Neon sign, yes.
Flashing neon sign.
So, I hope we all don't fall into that trap. I think, I've said all along that the county parks should have a line item in the budget that goes along every year and not dependent upon any other source, not even the Visitors Bureau. I don't know if that'll happen in my lifetime, but I'm hopeful.
So we'll have to rename the Trump compost pile.
We're renaming the Trump compost pile.
Oh.
Trump.
I'll second that.
I like that.
Any other comments?